Hey, what's up, everyone? I hope everyone is having a beautiful Saturday wherever you are in the world. And yeah, so today we have an awesome guest, Kill Switch, and we'll have her introduce herself and what she's all about, what she's been up to, and all the fun stuff that she's been doing. And I appreciate you hanging out on this Saturday morning and Saturday afternoon for you. So I want to pass it over to you. Who are you? What you've been up to? And talk a little bit about your stuff.
Oh, okay. Hi, guys. So this is Paavai, also aka Switch. So I recently completed my master's in cybersecurity engineering from the University of Warwick, and I I got the OSCP recently, and apart from that, I have CRTO, CDSA as well. Presently, my focus is on cloud, and I want to dive deeper into web pen testing. So in this stream, I'll be solving authority from HackTheBox, which is a retired machine. So yeah.
Yeah, awesome. So, before we actually jump into the fun for today, I had a few questions myself for someone, you know,
Okay.
about yourself. Like you took
Okay.
the OSEP, and I think that's when I said congratulations, and that's when we started
Yes. Yes.
talking. So, why did you skip OSCP and went right to OSEP?
Okay. That's like the question everyone asks me. So the thing is, like, I had PNPT already and EJPT as well, and I did a lot of HackTheBox Pro labs like Zephyr, Rasta. I also had CRTO, so I was I had a very good understanding of AD pen testing already. I knew all the attacks, so doing OSCP was very redundant for me. It's like doing the same thing again. So I just wanted to do something different. So I wanted to learn evasion, um, like about Windows API, like about CLM bypasses, etc. Some advanced bypasses. So
Hmm.
that's why I took OS EP. CP, basically, I learned the same thing which I learned already. I didn't want to do it. So I just took the EP directly. But yeah, you could do anything. That's up to you. You could take CP and EP after that, or you could follow the route I took. But whatever you do, if you're taking it directly, you should know Active Directory well, all the Active Directory attacks well, or do something like OSCP and then
Hmm.
take it. Yeah.
Love it. Love it. Yeah. Because I wanted to, obviously, we talked on Discord and everything like that. So I understood it, but I wanted to put that out there because,
Yeah, sure.
and I think that's super important because, I have friends that say, they have their PMPT and they have their CRTO, even CPTS from Hack the Box. It's like, should I do my OSCP? And I always say no, right? Like, if you already have that skill set, you
Yeah.
understand, just go for, if you have the money, go for OSEP. And that's good for your resume, good more for like HR, right? And, like if not, if you're a big dog in AD, go for the CAPE exam, right? So the CAPE. But
Yeah,
yeah,
like a lot of people are talking about Cape, like it's very hard.
yeah. And hopefully we see, and the first person that completed it, I'm very, very, I'm close with him. And it
Okay.
was so interesting. I don't know if he goes by home. I don't know if he's going to jump in the chat today,
Hmm.
but it was interesting because when that first came out, I told him, I was like, dude, you should do this because the guy is amazing. And literally, he took a picture,
Hmm.
and I think he was like, yeah, I'm halfway done. Right? I'm like,
Okay.
this guy is on it. He's on a different level, but I love him so much. All right, so we won't,
Okay.
take too much time. So if anyone has any questions during the stream, obviously throw it in the chat. We'll get to it. We'll try to solve, we'll solve the box, and we'll probably hang out for maybe 10, 15 minutes after because I want to be respectful of your time, and then we'll take any questions and like demonstrating authority, understanding what the techniques are. You've seen Ali's stream, so you understand how that goes. But yeah, the floor is yours. You can go ahead and let's go ahead and share this baby and get it
Yeah,
cooking.
sure.
Go ahead.
Okay.
The floor is yours.
So,
You can make it a
guys,
little bigger just to have that a little tiny bigger, and the screen.
is this enough?
Uh,
Like,
yeah, yeah. I think I'm good.
uh,
Um, And yeah, we should be good. So the floor is yours.
Okay.
Tech,
Okay.
you're it.
So guys, I actually did the Nmap scan beforehand because it actually takes like around 5 minutes to scan this particular machine. So I did it beforehand. So I'm using my new keyboard, so I might fat finger a lot. So don't mind it.
You're fine.
Okay, this is the Nmap scan results. So you could see like port 88 is open and port 53 is open, which indicates that this is a domain controller. And if you see like port 80 is open as well, and then port 8443 is open and SSL HTTPS is running. So let's jump in and enumerate further like what is there on those ports. So what was the IP? So you could see like IIS server is running on port 80 and let's enumerate the version. If you see the version is 10 and so IIS server 10 usually doesn't have any popular CVEs like maybe like the older versions like 7.5 and the older versions have like some popular CVEs. So maybe let's come back to this later. Let's enumerate the other port. This is the 8443 one. It's loading. Okay. So it's running a service called PWM. So whenever you visit a site and you see some kind of service running here, first thing you should do is like to understand what the service is actually about. So let's actually Google what PWM is. Okay. Okay, it's an open source password service application for LDAP directories. Okay, it's some application which is used for LDAP services uh, in an Active Directory domain. So okay, so it has something called configuration manager and editor. And it requires some kind of username and password. Maybe we have to enumerate it. Let's see like if we are able to access this. Okay, so it's the configuration manager is prompting for a password as well. So when I face a scenario like this, I'll take a step back and see if I can find some kind of password in some kind of shares or something. That's the first thing I would do. So let's actually see if 445 is open. And yeah, you could see like 445 is open. So let's enumerate the shares. So I like NetExec a lot. What about you, Pat? So
Yeah, I
okay,
use NetExec as well.
okay.
Yeah.
Did you switch to NetExec or do you still use CrackMap exec?
It all depends. Some
Okay,
boxes run better with CrackMap exec, but
okay,
just to be on the cool kids in 2025, I try to
okay.
use NetExec.
I feel
So
like NetExec, like I was very fascinated when I was doing OSCP. I realized like NetExec has like a lot of modules.
yeah.
Like you could do even constraint delegation attack using NetExec
Hmm.
and a lot of stuff using it. So I think NetExec is cool. And
Yes,
I think
ma'am.
the chat will agree with it too.
Yeah.
That's Do anyone of you use crack map exec still? Okay. Okay, I'll just dash shares. So the username for SMB has something called like anonymous login and guest session and null session. So in a guest session, you have to provide like a valid credential, and in the null session, basically even if you provide an invalid username and an invalid password, like a blank password, it will work. So that is basically null session. Null session is basically giving a blank password. So if you see, when I give a blank password, NXE has some issues with the database. Okay, so if you see, when I give a blank password, it actually shows the shares. But when I try to put some kind of, this user doesn't even exist actually. I just put a random password. So if you see, like, it shows status access denied. So, like, so always try a null session first, like without just try a blank password first whenever you try to enumerate for shares. Okay, so we could see like we have access to development share. We have read permissions over it, and we don't have any permissions over all these shares, of course, because of course we don't have any credentials yet. So let's try to see what is there in the department shares. We're using SMB client to do it. So I didn't enter any password. I just gave an enter here. So
Can you do Control L because the name is in the way? Oh, I guess when you do dir, it should
Oh
be.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, what were you saying? Like, what did you
No, you
ask
should
me?
be good now
Okay,
because the name on the bottom left.
okay,
I have I have another screen just to see how it looks,
okay.
and where it
Oh
says your
yeah,
name
okay. I could see
on the
that my
screen
name
share.
hides it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So you can't see SMB. You can barely see it, but
Okay. Maybe
it's
I could
okay.
clear the screen, which would be better. People are watching it. Okay, I think now it should be fine.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
So we could see something called automation. Let's jump into it. And there's Ansible. Let's do. Okay. There are like multiple directories here. So I think the best thing is to download all this and see what it is. I don't want to use SMB client and enumerate, go into each of the directory and just see it. Okay, let me actually do records on. And so why am I doing is that, so when I put records on, it'll recursively download everything, like it'll go into every single directory and it'll download every single file automatically. And why am I doing this prompt of is that, so so every time I go into a specific directory, it'll ask like, are you sure you want to download this file? So I don't want that. So I'll off this prompt and I'll download all the files without any prompt. So mget asterisk. So yeah, we are downloading all the files.
So this, just while that's cooking and doing its thing, so this is a medium level box.
Yes.
So, in your opinion, where do you think that level or that I guess the level is correct? Do you think this is a medium box? Because sometimes people or hack the box, they label their stuff as maybe easy, then maybe it's more of a medium, or if it's a medium, maybe it's a hard, or maybe if it's a hard, maybe it's more of a medium. Where do you rate this box for those folks that are like, oh, I want to do this? Do you think this is a medium or is it more on the easier side or the harder side? Where do you think it gauges?
I felt this box was easy. It was easy for me, but yeah, if I did it like before OSCP, yeah, I would have found it
Yeah,
medium maybe.
fair
But
enough.
yeah, now that I'm doing it now after learning a lot of things, like I find it easy because before doing my OSCP, I didn't know Ansible. Like I didn't know what it was. Yeah, I
Cool.
knew what it was like overall, but I didn't know some stuff like
Mm-hmm.
regarding hacking. But yeah, like so now I find it easy after OSCP because I
Sweet.
already know Ansible.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Awesome.
What
All right.
about you? Did you solve this box actually before? Like
No, I
have you
haven't.
solved
I haven't done this
it?
box.
Okay. So this is a
So
spoiler for you.
this is all brand new. And I didn't want to do it for this
Okay.
reason,
Okay.
because I wanted to see how you did it. Um,
Okay.
and I was going to do it. I think it
Mm-hmm.
was Thursday after my podcast. I was like, oh, maybe I'll do it just to see how, I
Mm-hmm.
complete it versus how you complete it today. But I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to do that because I don't want to ruin it in my head. I want to
Okay.
see the methodology of someone else. But
Okay.
yeah, keep going, keep cooking.
I thought maybe you'll give me some ideas. Maybe
Yeah,
your own.
yeah. And
Okay.
likewise, maybe we'll do it differently, right? And we get to the same
Yeah.
result and take a
Sure.
different path. But love
Yeah.
it. Keep going.
So what would your path be actually? I want to ask about it. Like so you saw something like this, a service running PWM. So I have to refresh it, I guess. You see something like this. What would your next step be?
Yeah, I would start enumerating, right? I would start
Okay.
enumerating. I would start seeing if there's any shares. Maybe I
Mm-hmm.
would have used SMB client to
Mm-hmm.
see if there's any shares. Obviously use NetExec, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that was your first approach. I would have probably used
Mm-hmm.
SMB client. Maybe I'm a little
Mm-hmm.
older. That's why. but
Okay.
but yeah, and then start enumerating and see what I can get. And I would have probably did so far the same things, like get into that. Um, since you did the box, you knew it was already in Ansible. I didn't do the
Mm-hmm.
box, so maybe I would have been tinkering around with it a little more to see
Mm-hmm.
where I can get to. But that would have been
Okay.
my approach.
Hmm. The thing is, like, when I did OSCP, like, whenever we see Ansible, we just jump into it. Usually, Ansible has some juicy stuff. So it's like, it's my OSCP, like, what to say, like, thing, which also drove me here. Like, oh, when I see Ansible, I just want to see what is there inside it.
Exactly. Your
Yeah.
takeaways from OSEP. This is your takeaways.
Yeah, this is also one of the major takeaway, I guess.
Yeah, fair
Yeah.
enough. All right, keep cooking. Thank you.
So, yeah, let's see like why okay. We can see like multiple directories. Let's actually do a three. Okay. There are like if you see like there are like multiple files here. So I think like manually opening it all individually is like going to take a lot of time. So I'll just use VS Code maybe. Okay, we could see like there are like multiple directory like files within this. So you could so there is a PWM directory as well, an LDAP directory. I think what interests me the most is PWM because the application we saw in port 8443 was also PWM. So I'll just first look into this and see the files. Um, okay. So if you see this particular file, you could see some Ansible vault A is 256 and this looks like a hash, right? So this looks like a hash. And so let me actually explain this part. So this is basically an Ansible YML playbook. So what is Ansible? First of all, let me explain it. So Ansible is used for automation of tasks. It could be like logging into a web page or it could be to like maybe start some Docker images. It could do any kind of task. So in this case, if you read the content of the YML file, I think it's doing some kind of login. If you see, like, it's accessing this URL, which is authority.htb.corp, and it's entering these credentials. Probably it's using these credentials, which is PWM login user, admin, sorry, PWM admin password and admin username. So this playbook is like probably used for some kind of login, and you could see, like, it also has an LDAP URL, and it's using some LDAP use password here for it. So yeah, so all these content, like, if it's not encrypted, let's say for example, the username would be in plain text here. The username, let's say example, it's like some admin. The password could be admin. When you open this YML file, it would be literally in plain text. So that's not what is needed. Like, people want some kind of security. So Ansible in like introduce something called Ansible Vault. So what they do is, like, let's say, like, you had like a YML file, and the username was admin here, for example, and the password was admin. You don't want it to be in plain text. So using a vault password, you could encrypt this entire playbook. So that's when you encrypt it, the username, the password, and all the important contents gets encrypted into what you see. It's AES encrypted. So yeah, that is overall what is Ansible and Ansible encryption is about. So now, how do I actually decrypt this content which is present here? So you need that vault password, because since AES encryption is used, so AES is basically a symmetric encryption. The same key is used for encryption and decryption. So you need to like find the vault password which was used to encrypt this stuff, so that you could decrypt it. So to do that, so first what you need to do is, you need to take all these hashes. Guys, I just, okay. I know someone was asking a doubt. Okay, let me actually. So let me take all these hashes and save it into a file individually. So let me actually close this. Oh, no, I don't want to close this. I'll open a new terminator. So actually, if you see, I have actually removed the to say like, so this is the content I have here, and if you see the VS Code, I have removed the top portion and I have also removed the spaces which is present here. You just need this particular portion without the space in it. Okay, so let me actually do it for the other stuff too. For some reason, it doesn't copy the first time when I do it. Okay.
No sweat, no sweat, no rush.
Okay. So we have saved the hashes individually into the files. You see, I've just saved the hashes. I guess just the hashes, that's it. So now I need to use Ansible to join. Ansible to join. Yeah. So now I'll just show you the content of if I, okay. So what Ansible to join does is that it'll basically create a hash for this. It'll take
Do you
the
want to make
vault.
it a little bigger? Because it might be a little small.
Okay. I think it's because of my screen resolution. It's so weird, but yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe I need
Yeah.
to also like clear the screen once.
Yeah. Yeah. No worries. Yeah.
Okay.
I think that should be good. Let me know in the
Okay.
comments. I think it was a little small, and especially if someone's watching it on a smaller screen.
Oh yeah, I think someone actually told that in the comment section.
Yeah.
Like,
The screen is hurting my eyes.
okay, is it fine now?
Yeah. I think it's fine, but I'll
Okay,
let folks say something in the chat if there's
okay,
you know, because I want to make sure everyone can see it. That's great.
okay,
Oh, awesome. Thank you.
okay. So yeah, so basically, like you can use Ansible to join to get the hash, and from this we could actually recover the vault password. So I think I'm actually sharing only my Kali screen. I'm not actually sharing my entire screen. So I'll be cracking this hash actually in my host machine.
Yeah, no worries. What you can do,
Yeah.
you can crack it on your host machine, just because
Yes.
obviously it's probably more powerful.
Mm-hmm.
But if you can showcase on here, because you're probably going to use maybe like RockU, like John dash,
Yeah, of course, of course.
John space dash wordless, blah blah
Mm-hmm.
blah, RockU, and then space, and then Ansible vault hash, and that's going
Mm-hmm.
to go and go through that vault and crack the password. So once you have the password, we can just do the command here, and then you can showcase, okay, this is what you do next. But on my local machine, since I have more power, this is where I cracked it. And
Yeah.
I totally get it, because I do the same thing, especially like even if I'm not streaming or doing anything,
Okay.
my local machine is a lot faster, my GPU.
Yeah,
But
that's
so
true.
I totally get it. We're
I'm
all
not
good.
used to streaming, so yeah, like maybe I should have done it beforehand.
No,
To
you're
show.
fine. You're fine.
Yeah, okay.
We're all learning here. So no.
Okay. So
Go ahead.
before that, like you have to actually use, maybe you should search hashcat examples, and you should search like what mode you need to use.
So
So
you're a hash cat girl.
yeah, hashcat. I don't use John.
Oh snap. Okay.
Uh, Maybe because like yeah, I'm used to hashcat. Like and you can do hashcat in your host. Maybe you could use John too. But yeah, what do you use by the way? Do you use
John.
John?
I would have used John for this. Like I would have probably just used John space dash
Okay,
dash word list slash whatever my
okay,
sec list, or even rock you, and then
okay.
point to that Ansible vault.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that's what I would have done. But you can do it however you cook. You cook, right? You're
Okay,
cooking today.
okay,
So
okay. It's good to know like others' methodology too. So you could see like Ansible, the mode is
you might have to
this.
zoom that in because that's super tiny. I can't even see that.
Yeah, even I can't see it. Okay, it's this 16,900. Yeah, I think now people can actually see it.
Yeah, I think it's
Yes,
a lot.
yes.
Yeah,
I
that's
can
way
see it
better.
as well.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so Ansible. Okay, okay, okay. I cracked it. Let me just check the password. So could I maybe put the command in the command like the comment section? Maybe I don't know.
Yeah, that's fine.
Or maybe I could just show them here. Like I use this command to actually like. Okay, it's not dash dash or q.txt. I use this particular command in my host to crack the vault password, and the vault password is very funky.
Yep, exactly. So if someone is running that, right, probably where she's
Mhm.
running the hashcat.exe, rocku resides in that directory. I just want to put that out there. So like,
Yeah.
so when you're running it, if you're running on your host machine, just make sure if you're not in the directory where your hash resides, point it to that directory. Or not your hash, your word list. Because for an example, my word list sits on like a D drive on my local machine. It's not on my C drive. So if I'm doing it, I have to make sure I point it to that directory. Because if not, it's not going to find it, and you're going to get an error.
Hmm. Yeah, we can stick to
Yeah,
this screen size. Yeah, I could actually increase it a bit more if you want. So yeah, so this is the Ansible password, vault password. So I cracked it and I found the password, and it basically looks like this. So now what you should do is that so you see that I saved the individual all the encrypted contents individually as separate files, the username separately, the password separately, the LDAP admin password separately. So now I'll use the vault password to decrypt the content individually as well. So Ansible space. So first let's do the the login. Yeah, this one. Ansible Vault Decrypt. So, oh yeah. Before actually doing this, you have to cat it out, the content. Okay, so the vault password is. Okay. So if you see, like, we decrypted the content. So if you see, the content is actually this. PWM, sorry. Okay, I'm fat fingering a lot. Okay. So this is the content, which is encrypted using wait, let me actually show you the vault password as well. This entire content, the CCPWM was encrypted using, and it became this.
Oh, did we lose you? Uh-oh. Are you still there? Let me see if she... I don't think it's my internet. Hope not. I think she got disconnected. And so we'll wait and see if she reconnects and resumes. Let me just hit her up and make sure she's okay. And oh, there she goes. All right. I'm not sure what happened. Can you hear me?
Underscore password. So this is probably the username.
And you have to reshare.
And
right?
this is the password for PWM. Try it out and check it. Yeah.
And you have to reshare your screen.
Yeah, that's what I think.
It seems like you got disconnected.
And
all right, there we go. All right, there you go. Network issues. Uh-oh. I don't know what's going on with her network.
Oh, did he?
That's why they call her kill switch. Yeah, I'm not sure. It's really, really choppy. Let's see. I'm not. You dropped out, kill switch. Yeah. I'm not sure what's happening. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can. So I think the network's back. All right. Go ahead.
Okay. So I don't know, like, whatever I said came in the stream, right? Or did it get cut?
No, I think where we left off is
when
when
did it?
Yeah, it cut off. I think when you went to cat the decrypt, and that's where like decryption successful, the pwn admin 123 or whatever. That's where I think it cut off, and that's where I lost you at least.
Okay, I'll actually tell whatever I told. I'll tell it again. So if you see, guys, this is the content of PWM admin login is. It's basically some encrypted stuff. As I said earlier, the content in that YML file was encrypted using a key. A is encrypted using a key. So basically, you could decrypt it using the same key. So using Hashcat, I found that AES key. This is the vault password. This is this. So this was the vault password. So what I did was, when I do this decrypt, I can use the same key, which is this, and decrypt the encrypted content, and I actually get this. So as the name suggests, if you see, this is called PWM admin login, and this is called PWM admin password. So this is a login. It's a credential pair, and this is LDAP admin password. We don't have an LDAP admin username. So yeah. So this PWM credentials could be potentially used in the PWM like the password panel. But let's see like what we can use it for. Okay, so I have to decrypt the content of this LDAP. Okay, so we got the LDAP admin password, which is type test or something. Okay. So now what we could do is we have like some credentials. So we could try this out actually, this password. I'd try the PWM password in PWM and not the LDAP password there. So let's see. Maybe you could use the other one too. Oh, this is a hashcat example. Let me go to this and here. Let me zoom it in a bit. Okay, let me actually go back. Okay. So you, as we saw earlier, there was a password field here. So let's try to enter the password here. This is the password which I'm entering. Let's try to log in. Okay, we get something weird. Let's click continue. And if you go back to configuration manager, yeah, you're logged in now. Let me zoom it out a bit now. Okay, so we are logged in here. So let's see what we can do from here. So as you could see, like it's an LDAP tool. So what is LDAP first of all? So Pat, what is LDAP? Since you're into enterprise uh,
Yeah. So
stuff.
all LDAP is doing,
Yeah.
it's going to authenticate you. Can you
Okay.
hear me? Yeah.
Yeah, I can
So
hear you.
LDAP is a service that you can authenticate with Active Directory users. So say, for example, you're integrating LDAP into a printer. So instead of having individual
Mm-hmm.
usernames on that printer, you can integrate LDAP that authenticates to your Active Directory environment. So it's just like a
Mm-hmm.
centralized way of managing your services through
Mm-hmm.
directory services.
Okay, that is interesting. Like when I say LDAP, I'll be like, oh, it could be used to like query about the users and computers in the domain,
Yeah.
like from hackers' perspective. So I wanted to know it from your perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, so my you heard like guys, you heard Pat's perspective, but my perspective is like okay, you could use it to enumerate about the users in the domain and computers in the domain, and what you can even use it for enumerating ACLs, like whatnot. Even BloodHound uses LDAP, if you guys know, like it sends multiple LDAP queries and collects information about the domain and it maps it for us automatically. But yeah, you could do it manually. You could send an LDAP query and do it manually as well. So yeah, this is what the tool does. It sends some kind of LDAP queries. You could see like it uses this SVC underscore LDAP as the username to send the LDAP query. So yeah, let's enumerate this further actually. Let's download the configuration and maybe let's check what it has. Okay, I think it's visible.
Yeah, it's visible.
Okay, so it has like a lot of stuff. So you could see like it has some kind of password here, but it's encrypted or something. And you could see like here too, like it includes. So to make the LDAP queries, it uses some username called SVC underscore LDAP. So what we could do is like earlier, if you saw like oh like a lot of people are chatting and I'm getting distracted. Okay.
Yeah, don't worry
Uh,
about the chat. We'll get to that. Like once we're done with the box, we'll look at the chat and then we'll go
yeah,
through the questions or whatever. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. I'm like, should I answer them now or should I
No,
do
no,
it
no.
once?
We'll answer it later because I used to do that, like try to answer it while, and then it messes up my
Okay.
flow. Just do your thing, and then we'll get to them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay, sure. So if you see like we actually found an LDAP admin password earlier, so we could that could be the LDAP admin account username. So we could try that username and password pair, and we could see if we are getting authenticated or not. Okay, netexec SMB. Okay, yeah, this one. Okay. logon failure. So that's not the username and password. So maybe I don't know what that password was used for. So let's maybe like enumerate further and let's see like if we are able to find something. But this is also a quick tip. Like whenever you find some kind of password, try it with all the accounts. It could be reused sometimes, and uh, always test the password with the accounts you have. It's a good practice to do in CTF. Of course, not in a real life environment. You might get logged out. Yeah. Okay. So let's jump back. So if you see like it connects to this particular URL and it uses 636, which is LDAP secure. So LDAP secure is nothing but like the secure version of LDAP. All the communications are encrypted. That's the only difference. So let's actually jump back to enumeration. Okay, there is not much there here. But the takeaway here is that this particular service connects to this particular URL to make the LDAP queries. And yeah, I forgot something very important actually. And okay. Okay. So whenever you start doing some box or enumeration, especially on a domain controller, apart from nmap scan, also run a netexec and see. And if you ran netexec, you could find the domain name, which is the authority.htb, and you could see the machine name, which is authority. Usually the machine name in HackTheBox is usually DC1 or DC2, even in real life environment, I guess. But here, for some reason, they have named their domain controller authority. Yeah, so yeah. And in my etc host, let me actually show my etc. Okay, I need to like zoom in a bit, I guess. etc host. And if you see, I have already added the etc host, but I didn't mention it earlier. But yeah, authority, like one good tip here I would give is like always include all the variations here. So the machine name followed by the domain name, which is the FQDN, the machine name alone, authority, and the domain name. Always include everything here because I remember like when I was doing OICP, one guy asked me like, "Oh, my PSexec is not working. Why?" I just told him just add the machine name alone to the etc host as well, and it worked. So always make sure that you include all the variations here, so you don't get all those uh, remote hosts not able to connect to remote host kind of errors. Okay, let me jump in back. So that's why, like, after seeing this, I got reminded of something I missed. Yeah. So authority.authority.htb is basically domain controller. So yeah, and the account which was used to make LDAP query was SVC underscore LDAP. So these are the takeaways here. So let's enumerate this thing further and see like what we could do. Maybe let's go to the other one, the configuration editor. Okay. Like seriously, like just play around this to like uh to find where you have to actually go and do stuff. I played around this beforehand, so I know where I have to go. Oh, still I don't remember it. So I have to play around again. Hmm. Okay, connection. Okay. So every LDAP tool will have a LDAP server which is configured. The LDAP server is nothing but basically the domain controller. Let me actually point it out again. So LDAP is a protocol basically used to query about users and computers and ACLs and whatnot in a domain. Basically, it gives you information about anything in a domain. And LDAP sends that query to the domain controller, and the domain controller actually gives you a response to you. So usually the LDAP tools are configured to with something called LDAP URL, and the LDAP URL basically connects to the domain controller. So LDAP secure, okay. So now what as an attacker I could do is, instead of, so to make an LDAP query, you need the password as well. If you see, this is the LDAP query that is made, which is common name OU. Okay, I just click something, I guess. Okay, this is the LDAP query. CN is svc underscore LDAP. As I mentioned earlier, this username is used for LDAP. But the password itself is like stored. So what we could do is we could modify this LDAP URL to our attacker machine's IP, and we could see like if it passes the password as well in this LDAP query. So let's actually try this and see. I mean, this attack is very familiar for me, actually, because I think
Yeah.
for Pat too, it should be familiar.
Yeah.
I think he gets what I'm talking about. And in the chat, if actually anyone uh, did the
Yeah,
search,
yeah, and it's
one of the
funny
search
because
might
I just
actually
thought
got
about
this.
that just right now. When you seen that, I'm like,
Yeah,
oh, this is a passback attack, and it reminds me so much of something I
yeah.
did. Right? We did. So yeah, we can't really say that too much because I don't want to get in trouble. But
Yeah, yeah. I also don't want to tell too much, but yeah, it's very familiar. I think someone in the chat might relate to us too.
exactly, exactly.
Okay, I'm just putting in my IP here and clicking OK. So to capture this, whatever is going to come to us, we could use responder or we could use netcat. So firstly, I'll use netcat and I'll try to capture this. Actually, we don't need this stuff, but
And so
let me
I have a
actually.
question, just because of
Yeah.
curiosity's sake. So
Mhm.
why would you use netcat over responder? Like I would have hit responder and then I would have test my LDAP profile to see if it responds
Mhm.
right to that query. So why
True.
would you use
True.
netcat? Is it just preference or preference?
Yeah. So, yeah, I actually use responder usually, but yeah, when I was beginning in this field, I used to use
Yeah.
netcat to capture any kind of connections that come
Especially
back to
because
me.
it's in clear text. If it was encrypted, it would be different.
Yeah, true,
But cool. And the only
true,
reason
true.
why we know it's in clear text is because it's testing LDAP
Mhm.
profiles, not LDAP-S. So
Exactly. Let's see like what we will be getting. So actually I put 636 here, so I'll do 636 and I'll listen. So when I click the test profile, this will actually connect to me, which is my attacker IP, and the port is 636. So let's click test and let's see like what happens. Okay, let me actually zoom it in more. And if you see like the connection is actually encrypted, it's because
because you use
wait,
LDAP-S instead of LDAP.
yeah, exactly.
So she should have used 389. But I like this.
Yeah,
I like that you
exactly.
did this. The reason being is because if someone is totally beginner, they're seeing it by
Mm-hmm,
default, it's running the LDAP-S.
mm-hmm,
So it's like, okay, now we can try to use multiple different ways, because just because it works the first time doesn't mean,
mm-hmm.
it's like going to work the first time for you. So working out the problem
Yeah.
is really, really cool. I like that because,
Mm-hmm,
sometimes on these walkthroughs, especially live, I just like to go raw. Obviously, if you're doing a walkthrough that's filmed, you're probably going to modify and make sure like you get it done right the first time. But this is cool that you did it and this happened, because this may happen for someone else. Like,
yeah.
oh shit, I did it wrong.
Actually, I myself faced this. I was like, oh, it's encrypted. Then I realized, oh, it's using LDAP
Yeah. All
secure.
right, go for it.
It's always good to actually troubleshoot stuff. Yeah. And when you actually get something like this, you should also understand why this is
Exactly. That's
happening.
important.
So that's always good to
Hmm.
know these stuff. So yeah, let me clear the screen actually. And 389. Okay. Now let me actually try to capture it again. Oh, I didn't change the uh, port and the protocol. So to get the clear text credentials, you have to like modify the LDAP to LDAP secure, LDAP secure to LDAP, sorry, and the port to 389. Okay, let's check it now. Oh, yeah. So you see, the password is this, and this is the LDAP query. So, as Pat said, you could use Responder. Responder is an amazing tool. Like, you could use this, and Responder actually runs all these servers by default for you, LDAP server, which we need to capture those credentials. So, if I do the attack again, oh yeah, you see it here. It's much more clearer and you could see what it's actually doing.
Yeah. That would have been my
Okay.
go-to, but there's always multiple
Yeah,
ways to skin the cat, right? So,
exactly. And another thing which I forgot to tell is like I found SVC underscore PWM's username and password and I tried it here in this panel because it's called
yep.
PWM. But you could also test it on the domain to see if it's some kind of valid credential. That's something you have to do as well. So here we have the username, which is svc underscore ldap, and ldap in the clear, which is the password. And this username, we were able to enumerate it for previously. Like when we were playing around, we found that the ldap query uses this as the username. So whenever you find some tool like this, just play around. You might find some playing around itself. Okay, let's use netexec and check if the credentials are valid. svc underscore ldap and password is this. Oh no, I think it's getting hidden. Wait, let me actually do it. Clear the screen and do it again. Okay. Okay, we don't get pawned here, but the credential is valid. So, like, if I don't get pawned, I'll just try other protocols like WinRM,
And
RD.
what if you did like -u before the SVC to
Oh,
specify?
oh, I forgot.
No, no. That's why we have 4 eyes here instead of 2, right?
Yeah, but we don't get those in exams. And
Exactly.
sometimes people go mad, like, oh, for some reason, RDP doesn't show anything. Maybe because RDP port isn't open. But usually, domain controllers have RDP port open. Let's try SMB again and see. Okay, you don't
There
get
you
pawned here. Let's try WinRM. WinRM was open. Usually, it's
go. We
open
got
in
the
DPs.
green, so that indicates those credentials are correct, right? The
Oh,
green
yeah.
plus.
Yeah, so the green
So
color.
I
Mhm.
think pwned, and the chat can correct me and beat me up for it, but I think when you use crack map exec, or say pwned, I
Mhm.
think net exec only gives you like a little green plus if its credentials are good, and if it's no bueno, if it's no good, it gives like a minus sign.
Yeah, it does. And also, like, let's say, like, if you're able to do a WinRM or an RDP,
Yep.
so it shows pond.
Yeah.
Let's say, like, if you can't do PS exec or something, like if you don't have the administrative privileges, then it won't show pond.
Fair enough.
But even though even if you're not an administrator, sometimes the user might be configured to be able to do RDP and just use his credentials and dump the BloodHound, and we could see like what this user can actually do. Like you can actually see it there.
Yeah, and just before
Actually,
we
let
do
me
that, I just
actually.
want to see, because I want to see if my theory is correct, my old brain. So if we do crack map exec,
Okay.
so if we just do a control L to bring it up, do control L real quick on your,
Control
yeah,
L.
control L on your keyboard, and that'll clear it.
Okay.
So hit the up arrow,
Okay.
and then instead of like net exec, let's use crack map exec. That same
Okay.
thing, and just
Okay.
to, so if you just put the arrow and backspace net exec, and then put crack map exec instead.
Okay.
Because I want to see if my old brain is playing tricks on me.
Okay, I never used crack map exec. That's why you're getting.
So what you have to do is probably point that to wherever your Python. So just for shits and giggles, oh, there it goes.
Oh
I
yeah.
can't really. So did it say? Can you do it? Control L and do it again, because our head's in the way. Oh, it does say pwned. See where it says pwned right there on the. You probably have to do control L. Uh-oh. Are we losing you again?
Okay. Actually, my
Yeah,
internet
hit clear.
is bad. It was lagging. You want to do it for SMB, right?
No, just right there. Hit enter. Just you can do win RM. That's fine. Hit enter.
Okay. Okay. You get pwned.
And then see where it says pwned right there? So it is. My old brain is correct. So if you use crack map exec, they'll give you that indicator of pwned. And if you use net exec, it doesn't. So
no,
I guess I do know.
If you see net exec does it as well.
All right, let's see, because I don't remember ever seeing it, but I could be totally wrong. Like I'm old, so my brain's. Yeah. Oh yeah, there it is. So that's weird that it didn't show up the first time.
Oh, that's because I used SMB.
Oh, okay, my bad. Maybe I wasn't paying attention. Sorry.
Oh yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, so now we'll use those credentials and use evil win RM. Old brain wins. Yeah, exactly. All right, cool. All right, continue. Sorry.
Yeah, so guys, so SMB, if you have some administrative privileges, usually it will show up on here when you do SMB, because you can do PS exec, WMI exec, whatever, using the SMB protocol. But let's say like this user actually doesn't seem to have any administrative privileges, then you might wonder why for WinRM it shows pwned, because maybe he might have some permission called can PSS session or can RDP. So in that case, this user might have the privilege to do a WinRM or a RDP into the domain controller. So that's why you get pwned here. Actually, I'll run BloodHound and actually show it to you guys. Okay. I will clear the screen and I'll run the command. Okay, wait. Let me actually go back to authority ls mkdir BloodHound authority bh BloodHound. Okay, now, oh wait, let me actually clear the screen and show it to you guys. So I'm using BloodHound Python here, and this is also one of the coolest tool out there. So if you have some kind of domain credentials, the first thing I would do is like to get the BloodHound data. So let's say like you don't have any kind of session on any of the Windows computer in the domain. Like now I don't have any kind of session yet. So I'm using BloodHound Python. So it would remotely do all those ingestion, and you'll get all those files required for BloodHound. BloodHound Python is amazing, but there's a catch here. So BloodHound Python doesn't map the local GPOs, and it doesn't show few stuff which Sharpound, like an ingester like Sharpound shows. So it's up to you. Let's say like you don't have a session and you need some kind of information, use BloodHound Python. But if you have some kind of session, always use Sharpound or something. Don't use BloodHound Python in that case. Okay, now if you see like we actually have those files in, let's load it in uh, BloodHound. Let me actually like fire up Neo4j. Let's wait for it to start. BloodHound. Okay, I think I fat fingered it. Okay, let me actually clear the database because I have my OACP database file here. I'm just joking. I don't have my OACP database file here, guys.
That's
But
funny.
actually, when I was doing authority, the last thing I did in my Kali box was OACP exam. So I had my OACP stuff here. And I was like, oh, should I do it in the stream? I was like, no, OPSEC is going to ban me, I guess, if I do it. Okay.
And I have a question about like
Yeah.
Bloodhound. So is there a way to zoom in Bloodhound? Yeah, we can zoom it in once we like get like our
Okay.
user, but like right, I don't know. I googled it. I cannot find a way to make the screen bigger.
Even me, like, I haven't found a solution for it.
Yeah,
Does
and
anyone in the comment section maybe
yeah,
knows how to
yeah. If
zoom
anyone
in?
knows how to zoom in
Yeah.
like this, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like just like the database, the node info, the whatever analyst or analyze, whatever it says, like that obviously will be awesome. I try to figure it out. We can zoom in once we can zoom in the UI of the graphic of like the pathways or the attack paths, but to get the left hand panel zoomed in, I don't know how to do that. So maybe after we can check that out. But yeah, that would be cool to know. I have no
Yeah,
idea how to
I
do
think
that.
the community edition has a way to zoom in the community edition, but this version doesn't have it, I guess, from
Gotcha.
what I have heard at least.
Yeah, yeah. I have Community Edition. I'll check that out later
Yeah,
when I.
sure.
But I think today's box for season 7. I think it's a Linux box. I don't think it's a
Mm-hmm.
Windows box.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe when I do that, because I want to redo this box, right? I want to do it,
Okay.
and I'll give you my feedback when I do it
Mm-hmm.
later on.
Oh, I think someone has asked a doubt regarding the BloodHound command that I used. So let me actually show you the BloodHound command again. Yeah, this is my BloodHound command, and the thing is, whenever you don't mention the name server or DC, it actually doesn't work. Or maybe if you don't include the DNS timeout, this DNS TCP doesn't work. Actually, I could show it to you guys here. Uh, Let me actually go somewhere else and do it. Yeah, let's try it. Maybe it could work. Oh, it works. I mean, it didn't work. Like I actually did it. Like when I was doing Zephyr, it didn't work. Like without those DNS stuff. It works here.
Yeah, I guess like certain boxes have certain reactions towards certain tools, right?
Mhm. Yeah, it's good to know.
Yeah. There's always a way, right? There's always a learning curve. And that's why I love
Yeah,
to do these and just like get on to see other people's perspective, and then we can get on with the community and they can just give their feedback. And it's
true,
always
true,
cool to like share.
true,
Sharing is
true.
caring, right?
Yeah, sometimes I'm looking at the comment if anyone asking some doubts. So I
Yeah.
just saw this and I was like, why not? I'll try it. Yeah, okay. What was I doing? Yeah, I got distracted now.
No, you're good. Yeah.
Yeah,
So I think we were at
yeah,
Bloodhound. You were in the
yeah.
Bloodhound
Oh,
UI,
yeah.
and I think you were going to have to get that
Yeah, SVC
SBC
underscore
LDAP
LDAP.
user.
Okay. Did I type it right? Oh, it's very small actually. Even I can't see it.
Yeah.
Hmm. Actually, like if you see let me actually go to the analysis. Yeah, usually when I see Bloodhound, the things if I compromise this particular user, I'd always see like what group they are member of, which particular group. If you see this particular user is member of remote management users.
Mm-hmm.
So this means that this user can do WinRM, which is Windows Remote Management.
Mm-hmm.
So if you see this particular groups, uh, it doesn't show up here for some reason. It should show it in the outbound object control, but yeah. But actually, you can see it here. See, I'm finding it hard to see stuff.
Yeah. I can only imagine because for me, I can't see anything. That thing is tiny as hell. But
Okay.
obviously, to save time and everything like that, this the people can go through this. We can tinker around, but we found the main thing that we needed, right? Remote.
Yes, yes, yes.
So with that, we know we can use WinRM because they're part of that group. Now we can use
Mhm.
Evil WinRM to authenticate with those credentials that we compromised, right? And see if we can get initial access.
Oh yeah. So I actually got it like while you were speaking. So if you see, I don't know if you guys can see it. This particular user can PSS remote session on authority, which is the DC.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you guys can actually see it.
No,
It's tiny.
it's all crazy.
Yeah. Maybe I could like
Oh, there it
make
goes.
it a bit closer and maybe like zoom it in. It's still not very visible, but yeah, you could actually enumerate it here.
Yep,
But yeah, when you have NetExec, why? Just use NetExec. But yeah, it's good to know why it's actually
exactly.
happening.
No, I absolutely agree. It's good to know
Okay.
that
Mm-hmm.
instead of like, okay, let's just jump into Evil WinRM to see if it works. We
Yeah.
can say, okay, we can validate that that user is a
Mm-hmm.
part of that remote management group
Mm-hmm.
to validate we can use Evil WinRM in order for us to utilize initial
Exactly.
access because it, especially like on an engagement, right? Because you want to have that proof of concept. This is the way we saw, and this is how we validated
Mm-hmm.
that, what is it, SVC LDAP user is a part of this group. So boom, we take a
Yes.
snippet, we could put that in our report, and
Yeah.
then we can go ahead and try to, especially if you're doing exams, right? They want to try to see every step, especially certain vendors. We're not going to put the
Mhm.
vendors out there, but they're very, very precise. Like they want to know every single step. And if you skip a step, they're like, oh, how did you get there?
Yeah.
Oh, I
True.
want to fail you because you didn't say the step prior to that.
Yeah.
So, and
I
it's
mean,
interesting.
yeah, it's always good to do that because when you start out in a company and let's say like you're working with people and
Hmm.
let's say like you compromise the domain controller or something and your colleague might ask how you did it, so you like you need to document steps to actually show it to everyone and even the client. So it's always
Yeah.
to take screenshots and like to show like how things actually happen. Like let's say like this authority is like some client of mine, and they're like, oh, how did you know like SVC LDAP was able to get a remote management session on this domain controller? So I can't be like, oh, I used NetExec and I found it. Yeah, I should actually explain them like how it actually happened. So, yeah,
And it's so interesting. I'll probably get yelled at by some people, but
yeah,
it's like I'm so good at like picturing it in my head, right? Like,
yeah,
every step. But sometimes, even for myself, I yell at people. Oh, like not yell at people. Like I tell people, hey, document your steps. It's really, really important. And
yeah,
then I
true,
get on. If you ever watch a
true.
walkthrough, I forget to document steps, and I do skip steps because when you're doing it yourself,
Mm-hmm.
you're in your own mojo.
Yeah,
When someone
true.
else is doing it, you're seeing from your perspective, right? So it's like, oh, how about we try this, this, and that? Maybe you didn't think about that because you're already in the zone, and we're seeing it from an outside, like a bird's eye view, right? So it's that's why I like these little sessions, because especially when I did it with Ali, like I learned a few things the way he did it. Like I would have
Mm-hmm.
never thought about it like that. Like, oh shit, like
Mm-hmm.
he's doing it differently than I would.
Mm-hmm.
Like you, like I would have used
Yeah.
responder first. You use net exec,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Or not net netcat.
Netcat.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
So I love
It's
this.
yeah, it's fascinating. Even when I was doing this box, I myself forgot to enumerate like, oh, this is the DC name. And when I was going through the website, like I was enumerating the website, I was like, it's authority.authority.htv. I'm like, what is this? Then I'm like, oh shit, I didn't enumerate the domain controller's name.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, when you're into a network, always use netexec and try to find the machine name and what's like OS it's using and what is the domain name. That's the first thing you have to do. I do it even before Nmap scan actually, but this time I forgot.
Nice,
Okay,
nice. All right, go ahead.
let's do an evil in Aram since we are able to do a. Let me actually. Oh wait, this is not the password. The password was something
Was the
else.
LDAP
Oh,
LDAP
this was me
secret?
testing. Yeah, yeah. This was me testing some stuff earlier. Okay. Oh yeah, we got an Vinaram session. And are we allowed to show the flags in a stream? I'm not aware of it.
No, yeah, because this is a retired machine. So
Okay.
and the flags, they
Mhm.
actually rotate on these
Okay.
machines. So
Okay.
no, yeah, you could do a walkthrough. You can show the flags on retired
Okay.
machines.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is the user.txt. Okay, this is the flag. I'm not showing you the
Yeah, yeah. You don't have
containers.
to show it. There it is. Yeah,
Yeah,
she's
this
like,
is
I want to be safe. No, I appreciate that. So
yeah. This is the
yeah,
flag, guys. Okay. So now that we are this user, something you have to try is like doing some kind of previous, or you should say like if you're able to move laterally. I'm sure like this user is not an administrator already because when I tried to do SMB, it showed it didn't show pond. So, but yeah, you could actually check it. Oh my dash priv. Yeah, he doesn't have like a lot of privileges. So group, I think he's like okay, maybe I should go a bit up.
I think you got to do a Control L. Do a Control L.
Okay. Okay. That's something I didn't know.
Yeah, we all learned something new, right? We all learned.
Okay. Net user group slash domain. Let's see like oh net group, sorry. Net group slash domain. Okay, he's just okay. I just listed all the groups in the domain, I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm. Are you good?
Oh my dash groups. Okay. So he's part of uh, the user group, the remote management users. Yeah, he's not part of any interesting group. And if you see, it's running on medium integrity level. Yeah, so this user doesn't have a lot of privileges. So usually, if it's administrator privilege, if this user had, and we are able to elevate to administrator user, we'll have like a high mandatory level session. But yeah, right now we have medium, and I don't think like we'll be able to do any kind of privilege because I already actually checked it. Um, like earlier before the stream, if I could do any kind of privilege. So from here, okay. So that like yeah. So if from here, what I'd see is like if Prevesk is possible. As I said, Prevesk is not possible. So you have to come back to BloodHound. And if you see in BloodHound, this particular user doesn't have any outbound object control. Doesn't have anything here. So it's dead end here, and also this since we don't have enough privileges here, we can't dump the credentials as well. So again, it's a dead end in Bloodhound, and also we could not do Prevesk. So at this stage, what you should do is like, yeah, this might be new to a lot of people here because yeah, from here, actually, let me actually grab that password from my other screen.
No, you're good.
Okay, I'll actually do it here like this. I just change the command.
Yeah, I do the same thing. I just change things.
Yeah. Like when I do it alone, I don't care much. But since a lot of people are watching me now, I'm like, oh, I'm a little bit embarrassed.
No, you're good. Don't ever feel like that. Like literally last week, I was by myself doing was it Blackfield, and literally I
Okay.
was stuck. There was a point that I got bailed out by a buddy, and he was like, "Oh, just do this, this, and that." I'm like, "Oh, thank God," because I wanted to get to the gym. I wanted to get some stuff done. If I didn't get bailed, I would have probably figured it out. I would have had to probably Google it and stuff like
Mhm,
that.
mhm,
But like I said, when you're on the screen,
mhm,
it's so different than when other people are watching because the other
mhm.
people are watching, they're seeing it from, like I said, another perspective, and their nerves aren't all like, oh man, I'm in the spotlight, right?
Mhm.
And so at least here we have each other. Like when I was on myself, I'm like, oh shit,
Oh,
it's
that
just
is
me,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know?
And you have to see the comment section as well. Like if I see that, I just forget like what I'm doing here. So I'm just trying to stick here.
No, you're killing it. You're doing
Yeah.
awesome. I love
So
it.
dash M ADCS.
So what is the dash M for those folks that don't know
Okay. So NetExec has like a lot of things like called we
modules?
have a lot of modules. So actually if you I just forgot how to do that. You could actually list the modules. Um how to list the modules. Dash dash help. It's something like dash M dash L or something like
Yeah.
that. Oh yeah. They actually provide it. Hmm. Oh, options is dash L. Maybe L?
So it's pretty much so dash M is the modules, and then I Googled it. Like, that's the way I do it. I don't think, unless there's a way, like, even like in man pages or whatever, it doesn't really show the actual modules, but you
Mm,
can just Google
okay.
net exec modules options and
Okay.
it'll show you the different options. But the
Okay.
dash M is obviously to indicate a module. And since
Mm-hmm.
this is a certificate authority box, we're
Mm-hmm.
doing that. So go ahead.
Actually, it does so, but maybe I should include the protocol as well. Hmm. Oh yeah,
Oh, there you
there
go.
we go. Yeah. So you need to include the protocol as well, guys, and you can see the modules here. So for LDAP, you have all these modules. Like for SMB, you could actually Oh, sorry, I'm just fat fingering the. Okay, SMB. Okay. Oh yeah, SMB has a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
You guys could check it out. Even it has zero logon,
Yeah.
spooler, GPP password, MS17. Is it eternal blue? Yeah.
Yeah. It's eternal
Wow.
blue.
Okay, there's a lot of stuff.
Yeah. NetExec is super powerful.
Yeah, it is powerful. Yeah, so here in LDAP, if you see like ADCS, it has a module called ADCS, find PKI enrollment service in Active Directory and certificate template names. So basically, why am I using this now? Wait, let me actually do it and I'll just tell you guys why. Okay.
So
So
if you
yeah.
want to do a Control L and do it again, so it's on the top of the screen,
Oh yeah.
just so we can see it.
Did you learn this control L like when you were
It's a
streaming or
lifesaver.
like did you learn it beforehand? I'm just curious. Okay, so if you guys see, like it shows like the enrollment server is this, and the certificate authority it shows authority dash CA. So what this is all about? So let's say like, so I'll just talk about real life engagement before this. Like I have a lot of friends and they have shared their experiences with me. So in a real life engagement, usually it's hard to find something like curb roasting or anything because like in a domain, like all the users' password are very complex and it's hard to hack, like do some kind of curb roasting, like to crack the password. So in
Mm-hmm.
that case, like uh, when I asked my a few of my friends, they told me that whenever they find some kind of credentials inside a domain, or like let's say like it's a assumed breach scenario, and the company, the client itself, provides them some kind of credentials.
Mm-hmm.
The first thing they try is like, yeah, they'll dump the BloodHound data, but the other thing they would try is to check if there is certificate service in the domain, and if it is there, and if they find some vulnerable template like EAC1 or EAC8, it's like direct domain admin from a very low privileged user. It's direct domain admin. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it might sound silly or like very simple, but this actually exists in a lot of companies, like all these misconfigured templates, and it gives you direct DA. You just need to type three commands and you just become the domain admin. And what about you, Pat? Like, are you? I think you should be familiar with certificates. I think you know to configure these certificates as well.
Yeah. Yeah. As a server admin, as like a Windows admin, yeah. And I would
Yeah.
probably configure them wrong. And when we got
Okay.
pen tests, that's how they got us. I don't know. I haven't been a
So
server
have
admin
you?
in
So
10
you
years.
have configured certificates. So why do you think like something like ESC1 or something like the the network administrator makes some mistake like that in like why like
That's a good question.
yeah.
From my assumption, just immediate
Mhm.
assumption, I think it's because when I was not in security, we didn't think security.
Okay.
We just thought about
Okay.
getting the server ready to
Okay.
be implemented, right? Same thing
Okay.
with domain ad, or when I would set up domain controllers, right? Like, oh, you set up ADDS, Active Directory Domain Services. We do all this. We don't really go in and okay,
Mhm.
make sure the attributes are all hardened. Make sure this is hardened. Make sure LDAP S is enabled. Make sure, like
Mhm.
maybe within time, but when
Mhm.
once we get everything implemented, same thing with IIS. Like when I used to have to spin up IIS servers and application pools and all
Mhm.
that stuff for like just for like the devs and everything like that, just to get it up and running. To be honest, like when I was doing that, I just wanted to be done with it and get it off
Okay.
my hand. Like, okay, I'll
Okay.
build you out a server, give me until the end of the
Okay.
day. And I never really
Okay.
cared about security, right? We just wanted to get the
Okay.
server up and get it to
Okay.
the appropriate person, and now
Okay.
they can do whatever they need to, RDP or get to the
Okay.
web server. But my job was just to get that server up and running. So,
Okay.
with that being said, we don't think security. We just think about pushing it out quickly. And same thing with
Mhm.
coding. I'm not a developer, but that's
Mhm.
probably how there's a lot of flaws in code. They just want to get
Mhm.
their code out and
Yeah.
just get it working. And now when it's out there and now they get that tested or whatever, now it's like, oh shit, like there's some vulnerabilities because we rushed it. So I think that's the main thing. We rush our job just to get to the next task and we don't think security. So that,
And that's what leads to this, I guess.
yes.
Okay. Okay, so now we know like certificate service is running, and there is like one more way which you could actually see this without net exec. Let me actually do that and show as well.
So I haven't used this tool in a long time. Let me Google it. I think it's Certify or something.
Okay.
No,
Yeah, it's certify.
Yeah.
Oh, it's called certify for the Linux, and it's certify for Windows.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So
And
in
since
this
we
case,
have those
obviously,
credentials, can't we see if it's like, like susceptible to that as well with that
oh
application?
yeah, we can see it. Yeah, we can see it. I'll be
Yeah.
doing it now. Before that, I just want to show like how to confirm that ADCS is actually running in that environment. So when you do net
Yeah.
local row slash domain, or is it just net group?
Yeah. Certifies for Windows. Yeah.
Yes. So if you actually see this, I think you can come across. Maybe I should do net group, not local group. I'm sorry. Oh, it takes a while. Okay. There was some certificate group which you can see here. Schema, protected, group policy, main controllers. ADCS is for certificates. Oh yeah, this you can see, right? Certificate service decom access. So this is also an indicator if this group it's an indicator that the domain has ADCS running.
All right. I'm back.
Oh yeah, you were off for a while and I paused as well.
Yeah. Yeah. No worries. Someone was ringing my
Yeah,
doorbell and I didn't know who it
so
was.
yeah, it's fine. So before jumping into the attack itself, I'll just give a quick overview about the certificates and the one. Okay, let me actually like first enumerate it and then I'll actually explain about it. Hmm. Okay. Oh no, it's certified AD. I'm sorry. Certified.
Yeah, certified -AD.
Yeah.
I understand.
Oh wait, let me actually like. Uh, let me actually find the command. I need to
Yeah,
find
no
it.
worries. You can always use ChatGPT, like someone
Yeah.
else said in there. ChatGPT.
Yeah, sure. On my other screen.
Oh, there you-
I mean, ChatGPT sometimes sucks. It gives you wrong stuff. But yeah, sometimes it's
Yeah,
good.
that is true. It does sometimes lead you down the wrong path. I've had that. So
Yeah. But yeah, sometimes it's very good. Like you could ask some doubts. You don't need to check Stack Overflow or
yeah,
something.
exactly.
But Stack Overflow is like more
Yeah.
reliable.
No, yeah, you're right about that. Stack Overflow, I love that. They're
Yeah.
really awesome.
Oh yeah, I got the command. Oh, someone is asking about your hair care routine.
My what?
Your hair care routine. Your hair?
Oh, my hair? Oh, I need
Yeah.
your hair. Oh, I need my hair care routine. Dude, I cut my hair myself. How does it look? And yeah, one thing I don't have to worry about going
Maybe you
bald.
should
I have a lot of hair.
maybe you should do your streams without your cap because a lot of people are inspired by
Yeah, it's funny because I always
hair.
have a hat
They
on.
like
I
your
always
hair.
have a hat. Some people like,
Yeah. Maybe you should
especially like
consider.
if I have my hat on, like if I just have my cap, a lot of people
Uh-huh.
I think I don't have hair.
You know what? Even I thought that. And today I saw your hair.
Yeah, no, I have a lot of hair.
And I was like, oh, he has a lot of hair.
That's funny. I was just paying attention to you
Yeah.
and
So
your
yeah.
process. So once you're done compromising, we'll get, like I said, we'll stay in 15, 20 minutes. We'll go through the chat and answer
Okay.
any questions. And I'll
Yeah,
tell you about
sure.
my hair care and just hang out until the end. And I'll tell
Routine.
you what I do to.
I think people will be there to just hear that. Oh, some guy is like, he assumed you were
Yeah, a
bald.
lot of people think I'm, especially like I wear a hat a lot. No, I have a full set of hair. Yeah.
Okay, so guys, so usually there is a tool called Certify to use do all this ADCS based attacks, enumeration in Linux, and it's called certify.exe in Windows. So since I'm in a Linux machine, I'm using certify. So if you see like yeah, these arguments are very like unknown, like very not familiar. So I'll just explain it to you guys. So find is used to find vulnerable templates. So I have provided an argument called vulnerable dash vulnerable to find the vulnerable templates, and std out to just put the output here and not to store it in any kind of file. And the target is of course authority.html, which is the domain, and I have to provide some kind of credentials here. So when, let's say like you're doing some real life engagement and you find that the network has ADCS installed, then something you should try is to run this command. It will show all the vulnerable templates in the domain. And in this case, you can see um, ESC1 exists, and any domain computer can enroll or enrollee supply subject. Template allows
Can you
client
hit enter a
authentication.
few
Yeah, this
times?
might.
Can you just hit enter a few times so that can come up a little bit? Just hit enter.
Oh
You don't
yeah.
have to. Yeah, there we go. Perfect.
Okay. So if you see, like in this case, the vulnerabilities in ESC1, and domain computers can enroll computers in this particular domain and also can supply the subject. So what does this mean? So I'll just give a quick like explanation on this. Wait, let me actually drag and drop the image. Okay. Okay, this is like a very good image. So what is ADCS? So ADCS is nothing but Active Directory certificate service, which enables to implement public key infrastructure in an Active Directory environment. Oh yeah, these terms might sound complicated, but to put it in simple words, so usually in an AD environment, Kerberos or NTLM v2 is used for authentication purposes, but when using ADCS, you could use a certificate for authentication. So you can present a certificate to the domain controller or the enterprise CA, and you could verify your identity. That's the entire idea about it. Okay, so just jumping into this image. So I think the image is clear
Mm-hmm.
now. I think you guys can see it. Okay, so how a certificate is issued in a domain. So a user will request for a certificate to the enterprise CA, and um, this certificate request is also called CSR, which is the certificate signing request, the abbreviation for CSR. So the client requests the enterprise CA for a certificate, and the request is called CSR. So what does a CSR contain? So a CSR contains the template. So what is a template? So coming to that, so you guys know there are like some marriage invitations, birthday invitation, a lot of invitation cards. So a marriage invitation might have like the couple's name, the date, the venue, the family name, etc. And a birthday invitation might contain just the birthday kid's name and the venue, maybe that's it. So that's how a template is. So in Active Directory, there are like various templates which are used for different purposes, and these templates contain certain fields. Yeah, that's all it is about. I think Pat, you can also explain like what is a template, because
No, you did a
you
good
set
job.
up stuff. So
No, and you did exactly. And I liked
okay,
how you use like birth certificates and a birthday certificate or a birthday invitation. That's those analogies
yeah,
were really good. So I love using analogies. So that was
okay,
good. Yeah.
okay, okay. So yeah, So that's basically a template. So there might be various templates used for different purposes. So yeah, you should specify the template which you need the certificate to be printed on. Like, let's say like a wedding invitation might need a wedding template. So it's simply like this user might need a certificate for some purpose. So you need to specify the template based on that. So the subject name is nothing but the user's name itself. And before requesting for a certificate, the user will generate a key pair, a private and a public key pair, and the public key is actually attached to this
Mm.
CSR. And this is sent to the enterprise CA, and the CA will verify if this user is allowed to use this template. Um, in case of like, let's say like when you give your marriage invitation template to a company to print it, maybe you should have the money to do it or something. Yeah, in a similar fashion, this user should have uh, enough privilege to actually like get a certificate based on this template. So it checks for this and it validates the user's credentials and the key based on the public key, and it issues a certificate. So this is overall. But yeah, I could jump deep into the
Yeah, we don't
keys
have to
and
get that
stuff,
deep.
but yeah, I don't want to drag it
No,
a
you're
lot.
good.
So just understand like also the user could request a certificate and he gets a certificate, and this could be used for
Hmm.
authentication. So in our case, so we had EAC1, right? So let me actually show a different image for EAC1 as well to explain it. Oh yeah. Oh, by the way, if you guys want to learn ADCS, HackTheBox has a module on it and it's very nice. And also, like, this blog is also amazing. It's called crove.com and they have explained things very well. So you can go through this or you can check HackTheBox Academy to learn
Yeah,
ADCS.
HackTheBox is
And it's always
the
good. Yeah.
ADCS is really, really good. I actually learned a
Yeah.
few things.
Yes.
They explain it pretty well.
Okay. Oh, so you have that
Yeah.
module as well. Like,
Yep.
okay. So, yeah. So EAC1, like all this EAC1, EAC8, it's basically called escalation. Escalation is basically some kind of attack. Yeah, that's what EAC is
Hmm.
literally. So all these attacks like require some kind of um, vulnerabilities or requirements. They need some kind of requirements, and these are basically the requirements for EAC1. And for EAC1, the enrollment flag should be set to enrollee supply subject. What does this mean? So coming back to the CSR image itself. So I mentioned that the client will include his name in the subject field or the attribute, and he'll send it to the CA. So what happens in EAC1 is some templates might allow the user to include any username here and get a certificate. And so this means that this user could even specify that he's the domain admin and could get a certificate on behalf of the domain admin instead. So that's what EAC1 is about. So you could actually see a cool picture here. Where is it? Yeah, it's here. So basically so I explained like why the vulnerability exists. So I'll just jump into the attack itself. So the attacker who holds a low level account, which is that SVC underscore LDAP, and he'll request a TGT on behalf of the user. And once he gets the TGT of that user, he'll use that TGT to request a certificate on behalf of domain admin, and he'll get a certificate of the domain admin, and he'll request a TGT to the domain controller on behalf of the domain admin, and he'll use that to do various things in the domain. So that's the attack overall. So let me jump into the attack itself. So now that we know like ESE1 exists. So this means that we could request certificate on behalf of any user. So, but here is the catch. So if you see here, in this ESE1, it's mentioned that authority, HTTP, computers can enroll. It didn't mention domain users can enroll. So, but unfortunately, we have hold of a domain user who's STC underscore LDAP, and we don't have any computer accounts yet. So, what can we do at this point? So, yeah, so Microsoft has something like where any user could add up to 10 computers in the domain. I don't know why it exists, but it exists. Pat, do
No,
you know why?
no, not off the top of my head. Nope.
but but yeah, every user in a domain could enroll up to 10 computers. So this means that we could create a fake computer using this user's credentials, and we could use that computer to perform this attack. So that is the whole chain. So now that I have told that, I'll just jump into the attack. So let's actually create an computer. Oh, yeah. So to enumerate that, this user could add a computer. You could again use netexec's module called MAQ, which is Machine Allowance Quota. So you could see how many computers this particular user can add. Okay, you could see that he can add 10 computers. You don't need to enumerate this. It's like a thing by default. Any user could add up to 10 computers, but yeah, just for the enumeration here. So to add computer, I'm using Impacket's add computer to add it, and I'm adding a computer called Hacker, and the password is password123# just for the complexity, and the IP is this is the domain controller's IP, and I'm using method LDAP secure because we know that this domain uses LDAP-S, so it's safe to include it. Okay, so I added this computer. This computer successfully got added. I mean, you could actually test if it got added to, I guess. You could just do SMB hacker dollar,
And the
and
password is going to be
what is the
password.
password?
Yeah.
Very complicated password. And let's take that out. Actually, it doesn't show up. Let's see if it shows up. Oh yeah, you could see like a plus sign. Oh, let's like try an invalid password and see if it works. I
Nope.
just want to check. Oh, okay. So you can verify it using netexec if this computer got added. So yeah, it got added. So from here, what you can do is request for a certificate on behalf of the domain admin. So yeah,
If you want to hit
so as we
Control
saw
L to
earlier,
bring that up to the top.
oh yeah, sure. Okay, next time I'll do it on my own, so you don't have to remind me. That's what I think every single time, and every single time I just forget it. So yes, so now this is the command I'll be using to request a certificate as the user hacker dollar password 123#, and as you can see, I'm doing this because ESE1 you could request a certificate using the one that COP VPN template only if your computer account. That's why I created a computer account, and I'm using the CA. If you remember earlier in netexec, I enumerated the CA's name, which is authority CA, DC's IP. The vulnerable template was COP VPN, and UPN, user principal name, which is the subject name or the SAN, subject alternate name. So is administrator at authority.htb. So this is the user on behalf of whom I'm getting the certificate, who's basically the domain admin. And when you specify the UPN, use the FQDN, yeah, and specify the DNS as the domain name, and yeah, that's it. And just click. Oh no, it's certify AD. I have no idea why Linux Kali just mapped it to certify AD and not just certify.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I also have no idea. Hmm. Let's see. Oh yeah, this error shows up when I use debug. Let me try without debug.
There you go.
Yeah. Well, for some reason, this attack works only the second time you do it. I don't have any idea why that's the case, but yeah, it works the second time you do it. So don't just run it 2-3 times and see it, guys. If you are
So
trying
now
this
you can just
box.
use the PFK with that administrator underscore authenticate authority, and then just pull down maybe the hash with that, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's the next step. Like, so after getting the certificate, the first thing as I would do, as Pat said, also is that to get the NTLM hash. So yeah, let's actually try
Yep.
to do it. 0. So I'm specifying the UPN as the administrator. Okay, we are getting some kind of error. Let's actually search this with AC1. Ah, this is a very weird error.
Yeah, I've never seen that. I wonder if that's like.
Oh yeah, you can always find in GitHub like these kinds of doubts. Always put the error. Okay, this is some guy. I'm the author of the pass the cert. Pass the cert is not specifically about the abuse. Is this like actually certify or pass the cert?
So I wonder if we just.
So actually, like what I saw was like, so I came across something like they told like if this attack actually doesn't work and you're not able to get the hash and you're met with this error, just try to pass the certificate instead. Because when you use the certificate and try to retrieve the NTLM hash, sometimes it doesn't work, it seems. So you have to pass the certificate instead and try the attack. So yeah, that's what I read it somewhere, but yeah, I think I read it somewhere here. Yeah, I'm not able to
Yeah, no
find it
sweat.
now. Mm,
Yeah, I'm trying to look for that too.
yeah.
So it says something about smart card login is being attempted.
Oh yeah, that one. Where is it? Like it's some blog, right?
Yeah. Let me see. And then it brings me to some Alman offsec past the cert. Let's see. Past the cert is the domain controller is not that certificate. Take your time. Yeah. This is obviously just having fun and just hacking this box and just learning throughout the way. I would have been doing the same thing, so don't feel bad.
Yeah. I'm trying to find it out, like, what is the issue?
Yeah, I'm going to put the, this is what I found. I'm going to put it, I want to give it to you in the private chat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure.
That's what I,
So I could check it
yeah.
as well. The thing is, I always use my monitor to
Yeah,
view
no.
stuff, but my laptop is so
Yeah, you're
small.
fine.
I'm not able to
No,
reach
you're
it.
fine. So in there, in that
Yeah.
link, if you go all the way down, or if you just like query, do control F, KDC underscore ERR underscore PA data, and you'll see the type not supported,
Okay.
and then
The
you'll see
error.
that error. Yeah,
Okay. Hmm. KDC has no support for P data type. Smart card login is being attempted and the proper certificate cannot be located. This problem can happen when the wrong certification authority is being queried or the proper CA cannot be contacted in order to get the domain controller. Okay, it also
exactly.
happens when a domain controller doesn't have a certificate installed for the smart cards. Interesting.
Yeah, that's I'm guessing what it is. I don't know. That's what I googled and came up with.
Mhm. So it mentions like we are not able to authenticate using that particular certificate to the CA server. So I'm wondering how pass the cert might work. In that case, we are going to pass the same certificate again.
Yeah,
So
so
that's why I'm like this searching it.
is
Oh,
required
I
for
found something like
spamming cat pics. This incident will be reported. I don't know what that means, but so what I'm
okay,
researching here,
okay.
um, so what if we did uh, certified dash P? If we come back to our, I want to see if this actually works. I don't know.
Yeah, sure. We could try it.
So when you did this box, did you finish it, or this is where you left off?
Actually, I finished it. Like, I tried pass the certificate attack,
Yep.
but somewhere it was mentioned that if this doesn't work, try pass the cert. It might work. But I was trying to understand like why is that the case because according to the article you sent, it's mentioned that the certificate itself we can't validate. We are not able to reach the CA or like the CA is not able to validate the certificate.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like curious, like why we are able to pass the certificate but not like use it directly.
Yeah. Use it. Yeah. Exactly.
Okay, let's actually try the pass the certificate attack. Maybe someone in the comment section might know it. If you guys know it, please do tell us.
Yeah. So if we try to do,
Yeah.
let me see if I can. Uh, I wish I would. Let's see if we do this. All right. I'm going to try to write this to you
Yeah,
and
sure.
see, because I can't copy it over here because it's on a VM and I can't copy across, which is a bummer. So it's going to be dash, where is it? AD. And then whatever you named your, what did you name it? Administrator underscore authority.
Oh, actually I found some article here. This is the article I was speaking about earlier.
Okay.
Wait, actually, let me actually show that to you. Hmm. Yeah, this one.
If you just run that, see if this works. I just sent it to you. In your case,
Okay.
I wonder. And
Oh
if that
yeah, okay.
does
This is
work,
okay.
and then we're gonna do the same
Mm-hmm.
thing. Instead of no key, we're gonna do no cert
Mm-hmm.
and see if that actually works.
Yeah, and you want me to try pass the cert attack,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, pass the cert. Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly.
Okay. Okay, actually, like this guy has mentioned it here. So it's basically I just tried to Google this error. If you see, oh my god.
Probably have to make that a little bigger.
Yeah, I'll just find that particular issue and I'll zoom it in. Yeah, let me actually zoom it in and do it. Pass the cert. Yeah, so I think this was I'm not sure like where I saw it, but yeah, when I was searching it now, specific error it leads to the same issue which we saw in GitHub,
Yep.
and consequently a tool called pass the cert. We learned that error means that KDC is not set up for Kerberos authentication and the domain controller does not support PK in it. Okay. So basically you can't do Kerberos authentication
Mm-hmm.
and retrieve that hash from the TGT.
Exactly.
So fuzzy set allows us to bypass. So we are going to directly use the cert and authenticate instead of like retrieving the NTLM hash, which is not possible because Kerberos authentication is not possible. I have no idea where this guy found it, but I think I came across a blog, but I'm unable to find it now. But yeah, the commands you gave me in the chat is actually the way to do pass the cert. Yeah, let me actually use that. So to do the pass the certificate attack, this is my first time doing this attack actually. Like I don't think even HackTheBox module covers this, or I haven't learned this attack. This is the first time I actually learned this attack. So you have to separate the certificate and the key. So now I'm actually getting the key without the cert, with the no cert argument, and I'm getting the cert itself without the key. And now I can use pass the cert to get an LDAP shell using the certificate and the key. This takes a while.
You want to hit Control L on your machine so you can bring it up?
Yes. Oh no. You just stole it again. So yeah, so we got an LDAP shell if you guys see, like using
Yep.
the administrator certificate which we had and the key. We separated the key and the certificate, and we used that to pass the certificate, and we obtained an LDAP shell. So this LDAP shell is something which pass the certificate tool has, and basically it gives you a very limited shell, which you could run like limited commands here. So yeah. So if you could see, like we could like we could do a lot of things, change user password, clear RBCD, like a lot of things. But something that I would try is we could do RBCD as well.
Mm.
I try to get labs password because OSCP, like we love labs password. But yeah, I think labs is not like configured here, so that's why you get this invalid MSC ADM password attribute. So maybe like let's see, like if we could add this user to some particular group, and note something that this LDAP shell is running in the context of the domain admin because we are using the domain admin certificate here. So rename computer, add user. Yeah,
So,
so we
so
could
what we're going to do is add that user to group and then add that
exactly.
SPC
Yeah,
user to the domain admins group. Then
yeah,
we can.
exactly. That's what we are
Okay.
going to do next. We will be adding that user to the administrator group.
So what is
So
it?
we already have the credentials for SVC LDAP user. So we are not creating a new user and then adding him to the domain admin. You could do that too. You could create a backdoor user and add him to domain admin. But we already have SVC LDAP. So why a backdoor user? So I'm just doing this directly and we could
So
see like it worked. So let's exit this and actually verify it. Before Patrick tells, I'll go to the top of the shell and do I have that command? Net exec, come on. Okay. So let me put SMB here. And now we get pawned. It's because this user is added to domain admin and domain admins can is like the highest privilege and hence you get pawned here. So basically you could get a PS exec session from here. So I would just use impacket or like not just a PS. You could just get a Winaram and like navigate to the administrator folder to CD administrator, CD desktop. Okay, you get the we got the administrator flag.
yeah, there you
But
go. You don't have to show it. You don't have to show it.
exactly, just to show that I actually did the path.
Yeah,
Yes.
awesome.
So
Yeah, that was
yeah, and
pretty.
also another thing I wanted to mention here is actually you could do RBCD from here, like if you do help. So if you guys remembered, like I added a fake computer account called Hacker, so I could basically enable RBCD for that account for RBCD to do to delegate on behalf of the domain admin, and I could basically compromise the DC from there too. But yeah, it's up to you guys. If you want the tough route, you could take that as well and do it. Actually, I tried RBCD as well, but for some reason I got some clock skew error. Although I did the NTP update, but still I was getting the clock skew error. So yeah, it's up to you guys. If you guys want, you can do RBCD and see. Or it's Pat, you know what? You told me you didn't do this box. You can try RBCD.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. I wanna probably try it probably tonight or tomorrow. But once I
oh
do
yeah.
it, uh,
Okay.
once I once I do go back and do it, and I'll definitely let you know how I do it. So we
Okay.
can, we can. Thank you for that. We'll eliminate that. Let's bring us back here. So we'll just hang out for maybe 10, 15 minutes. Um, I'll go through the chat and
Yeah.
because I was paying attention, but I wasn't paying attention because I was
Yeah.
obviously trying to pay attention to what you were doing and try to help as much as I can.
hmm
So let's just go up a little bit. I hope there's not. I don't think there's a
Actually,
lot of.
I think someone asked like what is labs. So labs is nothing but local admin password system. Like it's used in Windows environment to randomize the local administrator's password. So basically, using labs, you could set the local admin's password for multiple computers, and it actually changes it like periodically. I think every single day. I'm not sure like if it's
Yeah,
every single day
it
or.
all depends on how that's configured, and that's
Mhm.
the one thing that's if your lapse password changes all the time, it's good because once you compromise that, if you
Mhm.
dump your hash, it changes, so you won't have any luck. But a lot of these machines, they don't use lapse, and
Mhm.
you know, your machine or your password is going to stay the same. That hash is going to stay the same, and all that stuff. So, yeah. But all I want to say, obviously, I want to say kudos. It was a great walkthrough. Is that the first time you did it live? Is that the first time you ever did
this is
anything
my
live?
first time. Yeah, this is my first time. And even when I'm doing some boxes with my friends, I'll be like, don't see my screen. And now I'm doing it in front of so many people. And yeah, it's a very new experience.
Love it. And you did awesome. You know what I mean? You did really, really well. And, you know, I like that you, obviously, there is no time limit, right? Like whoever hangs out for the time, they hang out. If they drop, they drop. I just wanted to, and I wanted to thank you and for actually going into some detail and talking about some of the attacks and going through, you know, the walkthrough the way you do it, because we could have easily skipped a lot of steps, right? And we could have done that in 30 minutes.
Exactly.
So that was really well. So you could have probably did this box in 35 minutes, 40 minutes.
Yeah, it was easy. But yeah, I was like a bit stuck during RBCD because I got the clock skew error no matter what.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, so that's awesome. So hopefully we obviously team up for some other ones in the near future.
Yeah.
Maybe we can do what was the original one that we wanted to do, but it's still active?
Administrator.
Administrator. Yeah, maybe once that retires, we can do that one next.
Yeah, sure.
And so cool. Let me see if there's any other questions here. Past it, I don't know why it's limited. I want to see maybe it's maybe there's so many chats and I don't know. I guess I lost some. I know some people ask me about my hair. Yeah, my hair.
I think the people are still here.
Yeah, so I always had short hair, and then I had long hair for a few years. I actually had dreadlocks for a few years too. Before I actually got into this world, I had locks, and then I used to grow my hair. Then I would braid it. But yeah, I don't really do much. I actually just like wash it and whatever conditioner I use. But I think I got good genes with my hair. That's because I have a lot of friends that are younger than me and they're bald. You know what I mean? So it's all genetics, I guess. So yeah, I don't really do much for my hair. I don't have like a hair product that I use. And it's interesting because at least I don't know if this is a myth or not, but like I wear a hat. I've been wearing a hat since I was a kid, right? So they used to say, especially my grandmother, don't use a hat because it doesn't let your hair breathe, and you'll lose your hair. You'll go bald. I'm like, I don't know when I'm going to go bald because I still have a full set of hair, and I've been wearing a hat my whole life. So
maybe it's a myth.
Yeah, maybe it is a myth because it didn't work on me.
So maybe his hair care routine is like just wearing a cap, hat.
Yeah, exactly.
Just wear it, guys, to save your hair.
Exactly. Yeah, maybe it's reverse, right? You want to have a lot of hair, put a hat on.
Just put a hat on.
So
show the public that you're bald, but actually you have so much hair inside.
Yeah. Yeah, I have a lot. So yeah, and I'm looking at this. This is awesome comment. I love watching authentic walkthroughs, rabbit holes and all. Yeah. So there was no planning, just did it and see what happens. So that's what I like to do as well, especially because it's real, right? Like it is what it is.
Maybe sometime like we could get some guys and we could do like a random box. People would like throw in ideas
completely blind,
not just
like
with
no
like
one
one
did it.
person, maybe like three.
Yeah. I have some people that would love to do that. I think we can get Glenn. I'm surprised he's not in the chat today. I didn't see him. If I missed you, Glenn, sorry. I know he has the Stinger. He goes by the Stinger. I know he'll probably be down. I know my friend Paul would be down. We'll get a few people and just do it live, right? Just go live and just do that. That'll be pretty fun. Pat, you have beautiful hair, buddy. Thanks, bro. I don't know.
I had a question for you too. Like you told me you do blue teaming, so I was curious. Like, what do you exactly do in blue teaming? So it's it's a wide area, right? What do you do specifically for your day-to-day job?
Yeah. So what I
Mm-hmm.
normally do is
Mm-hmm.
there's a whole bunch of things, right? We have certain EDRs, certain SIM
Mm-hmm.
solutions. I'm not going to give that out there, um,
Okay.
but certain tools, certain threat intel tools I'll use, and we engineer the solution. So, say for example, we have this SIM solution or this
Mm-hmm.
EDR solution, and we
Mm-hmm.
have to create different like uh, exclusions, or maybe at the like there's a project that I worked on. Like I'm looking at different kinds of anomalies that
Mm-hmm.
go into our that we ingest into our EDR and make sure those IOCs or those hashes are good,
Mm-hmm.
just in case. We can run that through like
Mm-hmm.
tools like Tails or Recorded Future or some kind of
Mm-hmm.
online CTI. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
yeah, these are things I do, and it all varies.
Okay.
Maybe I'm using something like in email filtering, MDO. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
we're looking to see
Okay.
if there's any threats going into there. Sometimes it gets boring stuff,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like documenting processes, right? That's uh,
Mm-hmm.
that's what I do as well. But you know, it
Okay.
it really really differs every day. Um,
Okay.
so yeah, and then obviously like a little bit of part time stuff. I do pen
Mm-hmm.
testing for a consulting
Mm-hmm.
firm that I whenever I can,
Okay.
and I do these things, right? Like do
Okay.
CTFs and like
Okay.
and the offensive security is fun for me,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's fun, but the
Mm-hmm.
passion for me
Mm-hmm.
is more on the
Mm-hmm.
defensive side, and I do that.
Okay.
So yeah, that's pretty much me in a nutshell, and I just started opening up
Mm-hmm.
about that recently, um,
Okay.
talking about the
Okay.
blue team stuff and what I do
Mm-hmm.
on a daily.
I was just curious. And what did you say? Like, how is CDSA? Like, since you're a professional, what would be your opinion on CDSA's modules since you have completed it? How much does it align
Yeah,
with real world
it,
stuff?
it was really good, and that's why I'm really looking forward to.
Mm-hmm.
I need to do it actually,
Mm-hmm.
probably today or tomorrow. I have so many things to do, but
Okay.
it's not the CDSA, which is the Sal One from Try
Mm.
Hack Me. They gave me a they
Oh,
gave me a
okay.
voucher, and
Okay.
so that one, John Hammond did it. So a few other people did it.
Okay.
Some people passed, some people
Okay.
failed, and
Okay.
from what because I can't talk on the CDSA because I haven't done it yet, so I don't really know too much
Okay.
about that.
Okay.
But at least from
Mm-hmm.
like the Sal one, I haven't done it either. But from their
Okay.
simulator, it was
Okay.
very, very real world because
Okay.
in the real world, like you're
Mm-hmm.
gonna have an incident come in, but it's not like zoom, zoom, zoom.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you're hanging out, checking
Mm-hmm.
emails, chilling out, talking on Teams
Mm-hmm.
with your friends and your coworkers, and all
Mm-hmm.
of a sudden, oh shit! Like I
Okay.
just got an alert. Let's go check it out. Oh, it's a true positive.
Okay.
Oh, it's a false positive. Like who cares?
Okay.
It's something low priority.
Okay.
So
Okay.
from at least the simulator SOC simulator on
Mm-hmm.
Try Hack
Mm-hmm.
Me, there's a true positive and there's a whole bunch of false positives. So from the
Okay.
exam, or excuse me, from the real world, that's how
Mm-hmm.
it is. Like you'll see something come in, it's like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, it's very
Mm-hmm.
nonchalant, but like, oh shit, Kill Switch
Mm-hmm.
clicked on this link and now it's bringing it to some thing, and she clicked on it and harvest her credentials or
Mm-hmm.
something. Maybe then you'll start investigating that, where to come in from. Maybe you'll get with the firewall team.
Okay.
Maybe you'll see like who clicked on it, where did that data traverse out of, and get to the nitty
Okay.
gritty of things. So
Mm-hmm.
the moral of it, from what I've heard, the Sal 1 exam is pretty
Mm-hmm.
realistic. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and but the CDSA I heard was harder. So
Okay.
that's from what I've heard. I haven't done either of them yet.
Okay. You know what? Once you're done with both, you should make a comparison. I just want to know like the comparison, like how they compare. But yeah, knowledge wise, I think I learned a lot from CDSA. Like I don't care about the exams now. I pass or fail, but all that matters for me is like if I learn the course well. That's the takeaway for
Yeah,
me.
absolutely. And
That's
I think I'm the same
yeah.
way now. And I've said
Mm-hmm.
this, and maybe I've gotten
Yeah.
hate for it, but to be honest, I don't really give a shit.
Yeah.
But
Mm-hmm.
like I do these exams to do, a breakdown of
Mm-hmm.
it or a review on it. not so much that's going to make me money in the sense of like, oh, if I get this certification, I want to get more money at my job. No, because at my job, we don't even use Splunk. We don't use Elastic. We don't use the tools that we learn in the CDSA or the SOC pathway, right? So if I do that, and if that exam is on Splunk and Elastic, etc., it's going to be relevant for me. You know, so but at least like if someone asks me about a different technology or a different, you know, opinion on something, at least I can talk about it. And, you know, obviously if you're not using something like the CPTS and or like CBBH or these kind of exams, like if I don't do it right after my pathway, after everything is still in my head, if I do it, I'm going to wait a month, I'm going to forget because I'm not using it every day. So,
true.
you know, so that's same thing like this. Like if I never use this past past the cert, and you know, if I don't see this again after I do this,
You just forget it.
I'll forget that tool. So
but some things like NetExec is like in your muscle memory. You never forget it.
Exactly.
But recently, like me personally, like I got like a lot of messages in LinkedIn. Like some things are like very absurd. Like some people are like, since I have CRTO, they're like, oh, I'm stuck here, help me. So I'm like, just go through the course and maybe try to figure it out yourself. And the person replies like, I don't even have the course, and I took the exam directly. I'm like, what is the point in taking the exam directly without doing the course? I don't know, it's weird for me. I understand if you're an experienced guy who can take exams without doing the course, but still, like, you have to do the course, whatever the course might be, even if you're someone experienced. Do the course, get a touch of it. You will learn a lot of new things there as well. But yeah, it was weird for me. And the guy was arguing. He was like, he learned Cobalt Strike from HackTheBox. I was like, which module in HackTheBox teaches you Cobalt Strike? And he's
none.
like,
It's only
it
Sliver.
teaches.
He lied.
Sliver.
Yeah.
And he was like, Linux version. I didn't understand what he was trying to tell, but yeah, it was funny.
Yeah,
Whatever that guy
that's
was
something, you know, obviously, you know, for the younger folks, I always say I'm old because I feel like when I'm talking to people like yourself and other folks in the industry, at least there's only another old man like me, which is,
I mean, you don't look old.
yeah, but I'm up there. So like, I always feel like, you know, arguing with those folks on the internet, like there's no point, right? Unless they're saying something
True.
like mean or disrespectful, then that's a different approach, right? Don't be a dick. But if you just like, because me, I did the CRTO and I didn't do I just did the exam. So I'm one of those guys. So you know, I just went in.
So, but you are familiar with Cobalt Strike already, right?
Yeah.
So you must be familiar.
So
exactly.
You know, so there was times that I used it, and then like you know, at a company I worked with, we used it for a bit, but you know, I use like Havoc C2 or Mythic. Mythic always gave me some.
Oh yeah, Havoc is like very similar to Cobalt Strike.
Yeah. So so you know, the moral of the story is you're going to get into those arguments or get into those bickers with people on the internet, and you know, let people have their own opinion as long as they're not rude to you.
True.
You know,
True.
that's yeah, man. Don't be a dick. Like, don't be a dick, because it's gonna come around, right? Like, what goes around comes around. So that's how I always say. Like, I play hockey, right? I'm a big hockey fan. If those folks that are into hockey or into any sport, right? The instigator gets away with it. Who gets in trouble? The retaliator, right? The someone that hits you back or checks you back or whacks you back. But like if you hit me in the ref won't see you, but if I come back at you and nail you, then I'm going to get in trouble and go in the penalty box, right?
Yeah, of course.
So this is what they do, right? On the internet, these trolls, they try to hit you, but because when you go back at them, you look like the bad guy. So fuck them.
Exactly. they'll post screenshots like, "Oh, you came back at
Yeah.
10." I just
Yeah.
left it.
It's just like
I was
immature
like, "Okay,
people. And like I said, at the
exactly."
end of the day, fuck them,
Oh yeah.
But I want to say thank you. Obviously, it's 1:30. I'm not sure what time it is by you. We've been hanging out for 2.5 hours. So
Okay.
I really, really
Yeah.
thank
Was
you. And
any yeah, someone asked like, do you believe that learning AD is by solving boxes? What do you
say,
think?
what was the question?
So do you believe that learning AD is by solving boxes?
Oh, so
So
learning AD, like in general, or learning AD pen testing?
I think AD pen
Y-
testing.
Yeah. So I'm not the best at it. Like, there's
Okay.
someone named Home Home. I won't put his real name out there. He's a beast with
Okay.
AD, right? Like I know
Okay.
enough to get in trouble. I know enough to like solve whatever I
Okay.
need to do. Maybe I don't give myself enough
Okay.
credit, but yes, like
Okay.
I think the best way I did it, yeah, solving boxes is cool, but like
Mm-hmm.
when you're doing something like PMPT, that one was good because it
Yeah.
wasn't one single
Yeah.
machine.
Because. Mhm.
You have to get
Mhm.
into the environment. It's more realistic because then in a real environment, you're going to pivot. You're going to use proxy change. You're going to use port forwarding. You're going to use these kind of techniques on a single machine. Yeah, like if you're doing like a hard, insane machine, yeah, they'll probably have different ways. But a standalone machine, yeah, you're going to learn some stuff, but you're not going to get the full potential of an AD attack, in my opinion. Like I learned a
True.
lot during the CPTS, right? Like that one was, you have to get to
Yes.
different.
CPTS is like so crazy. It's very crazy. Like Cape
Yeah.
is more
And
crazy.
that was really, really fun for me. And I learned a few things.
Mm-hmm.
And there
Mm-hmm.
were points that I was stuck, but I had to go back to my
Mm-hmm.
notes there was one day I
Mm-hmm.
had to go rewatch or redo one of the modules because I forgot something.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, doing the boxes will definitely help you with your AD. But if you want to take a step back, depending on where you are in your
Mm-hmm.
AD pen testing career,
Mm-hmm.
set up your own
Mm-hmm.
set up your own AD lab. That's what we were talking about before the stream, right?
Yeah.
Set your own environment up and how you build it, and then try to break it. So then different
True.
things how to attack it. And if you do get an error, you already have that machine that you built, right? So I always say, build your own stuff first, is if you're brand new, and go to town on there. And then you can go to like HackTheBox, Try Hack Me, Vuln Labs, and all those other platforms. But that would be my approach.
True. And I think also God. A lot of people talk about God.
Yeah,
GOAD.
games of Active Directory or whatever.
Uh, yeah. Yeah. It's very big. It's a very big AD network, and you learn everything
Yep.
there.
Yeah, exactly.
That is also a good way. If you can't set it up on your own, you can also use something like that and learn all the attacks. But yeah, always setting up from scratch, like yourself, you'll learn a lot from
Yeah.
there. I even like heard that you could actually do set up the environment for all these ADCS
Hmm.
attacks and learn it yourself. Yeah, that's something I want to do as well
Yeah, exactly.
because I didn't set it. Yeah,
Yeah. So let's see. Yeah, it is lunchtime for me. Let's see. I think AD is actually
yeah,
harder
okay,
than Linux in a lot of ways. Yeah, AD. I think the Linux stuff for me, because now like I'm getting better at the Linux pen testing, Linux boxes. But in the beginning, Windows boxes were way easier for me because I understood Windows, right? Linux, like some of the attacks or whatever, I'm a little lost because it's like I'm not a Linux expert, right? So I can I can definitely get through a Windows box a lot easier than a Linux box. Bup, 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 bup. I'll definitely go blah. That's good advice. I notice a lot of people use Proxmox for building their own labs. Yeah, Proxmox is another one. I use VMware. That's what I use. Goat is the goat. Yep, it is. It's really cool. I set it up once. I didn't set it up in my environment. I helped a friend set it up in his.
hmm
Um, would like to take some time to thank you both. I really learned a lot from it. Thank you. Yeah, likewise. I want to
okay.
thank everyone for hanging out. And
Yeah, like a lot of people are like there from the start. Like they have been watching the entire
Yeah. So I
stream.
really want to thank you
Like,
guys.
yeah, thank you guys for being here and being supportive.
Yeah, most definitely. And you rocked today. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And
And I think a lot of people, even like when I was like stuck somewhere, they were putting their own ideas. Like, thank you guys. Maybe I didn't read it properly, but sorry.
yeah,
But yeah, thank you for being
yeah,
here.
most definitely. And that's what it's all about, is just like learning and
Mhm.
sharing knowledge. So thank you so much, everyone. And a happy Saturday.